you need to begin to appreciate how smart you are. You need to begin to appreciate how intelligent you are. You see, the thing is that we underestimate our capabilities simply because we grew up with toxic people. We grew up with negative people. They undermine us. They tell us we are not intelligent. They tell us we are not smart. But the truth is that if you look back and see what you have achieved, even with the limited resources that you have, you see how brilliant that you have done. You see how excellent that you have done. You see all the things you have accomplished with little help. Then you begin to understand how smart you are, how intelligent you are. So now you know that you are smart. Now you know that you're intelligent. The next thing you need to do is to avoid negative people, is to disassociate yourself with those people that are negative. Anybody that is undermining your success, anybody that is undermining your intelligence, that person should be cut off from your life. That person should not be part of your life. Because these people is what I call destiny killers. What they do is to kill dreams. What they do is to destroy your feeling. And when your feeling is destroyed, when you are demotivated, you don't have the zeal, you don't have the energy to do more, you don't have the energy to work hard. Because this person is constantly telling you how stupid you are. This person is constantly telling you how a failure you are. This person is constantly telling you how unpleasant you are. But the truth is that this person is always projecting. He wants to be like you. She wants to be like you. She knows that you are smart. He knows that you are smart. He knows that you are intelligent. But the only way for that person to feel good is to undermine you, to distract you. Because when somebody is constantly antagonizing you, what that person is trying to do is to distract you from your goal, is to distract you from your objective. I call them destiny killers. I call them parasites because there is nothing that you are going to benefit from them. There is no good thing that comes from those people. They will destroy you and they will leave you in shambles. So avoid any negative friend. Avoid anybody that is constantly dehumanizing you. Run away from them because these people are betrayers. These people are backstabbers. You need to begin to take your energy back. You need to begin to reclaim your power back. You see, even though you are going through any kind of challenges today, I promise you, everybody is going through challenges. It is not peculiar to you. You see, the purpose of pain is not for us to suffer. The purpose of pain is for us to learn, for us to grow, and for us to become a better person. You see, pain teaches empathy, and pain teaches love. Every single accomplishment that you have celebrated today came from pain. You see, without pain, there wouldn't be any need of celebration. Because if you never feel pain, you wouldn't know how success feels like. So when you have gone through pain, and when you are going through a successful path, now you can be able to see you can be able to have a better understanding. So whatever thing you are going through now, you are not alone. All of us are in it. It will soon be over. Just give it some time. Give it some time, it's going to be over. But one thing that you will not allow to happen in your life is to get yourself involved with people that doesn't appreciate you, that doesn't encourage you. So, this time that you are going through challenges, you must understand that it will soon be over. And you need to love yourself. That is the only weapon you have for you to overcome these problems. Is when you love yourself. And when you love yourself, things are going to come in place for you. You see, you can't claim to love your father or your mother or your brother or your sister. You can't claim to love anyone if you don't love yourself. You see, the reason why you're not happy is not because that people hate you. The reason why you're not happy is not because something bad is happening to you. The reason why you're not happy is because you don't love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you're not capable of loving any other person. Because you need to love yourself first for you to love your neighbor. You need to love yourself first for you to love your wife. You need to love yourself first for you to love your husband. Because you can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, what it means is that you're not capable of loving. And you can't give what you don't have. So you need to love yourself, and you need to love yourself abundantly. That is when you're going to be in a better position to be able to love your husband. That is when you're going to be in a better position for you to be able to love your wife. You see, you need to understand that the purpose of us being here is not for us to suffer. The purpose of us being here is for us to enjoy life. And for us to enjoy life abundantly. And this life is too small. It's a very short life. So you wouldn't want to spend your life fighting with people. You wouldn't want to spend your life making enemies. So you need to associate yourself with people that genuinely love you. You need to associate yourself with people that genuinely appreciate you. That is when you are going to enjoy life. Because if you are constantly associating yourself with people that are backstabbing you, if you are getting yourself involved with people that doesn't like you, you are wasting your time. Because this time you are spending with those people at the same time you are supposed to spend with people that genuinely care for you, with people that genuinely love you. And the only way you can be able to attract people that love you is when you love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to attract people that love you. Because when you love yourself, you put yourself in a better position for you to make a proper judgment. Because when you are feeling lonely, when you are feeling depressed, and you are looking for a companion, you are going to make a harsh judgment. Because the reason why you're entering that relationship is for you to find somebody to keep you company. So when you go into a relationship because you are lonely, when you go into a relationship because you are depressed, you're going to, in most cases, you're going to meet the wrong people because you make those decisions because of what you are feeling at that moment. And in most cases, you are going to be disappointed because the people that you are going to attract in your life are people that are also lonely, are people that are also depressed, are people that are also damaged mentally. Because if you are lonely, you are going to attract people that are also lonely. If you are damaged mentally, you are going to also attract people that are damaged mentally. So before you go into any kind of relationship, before you go into any kind of marriage, you need to have a proper assessment of your mindset. You need to forgive every single person that has offended you. You need to forgive your ex-boyfriend. You need to forgive your ex-wife. You need to forgive your ex-husband. You need to forgive your ex-wife. You need to go into a relationship with a proper mindset. Because when you go into a relationship with a corrupt mind, you are going to find people that has also a corrupt mind. Because you attract what you are. If your mind is corrupt, you are going to attract people that their mind is corrupt. If your mind is free, if your mind is pure, you are going to attract people with pure hearts. If you are depressed, if you are lonely, don't think of going into any kind of relationship. Because when you are lonely, the people you are going to attract are the same people that are lonely. Because you are who you attract. So you need to put your mind in a proper position. You need to organize your mind. Because your mind is what actually creates your reality. The reason why you're not happy, it all comes from the mind. The reason why you're always picking the wrong boyfriend, the reason why you're always picking the wrong girlfriend, it's not because you're a bad person. It's not because you are not lovable person. It's not because something is wrong with you. It's because you have not organized your mind. You see, the moment you organize your mind, you see how miracles begin to happen in your life. You see how you begin to attract people that are special, people that are sweet, people that are intelligent, people that are pure in heart. And the only way you can be able to do that is not a rocket science. You can try it today. Try to organize your mind. And the only way you can be able to organize your mind successfully is when you begin to forgive people. Because you can't have hate and love at the same time in your heart. Because the heart only contains either love or hate. When you have love in your heart, you are going to attract people that also have love in their heart. When you have hate in your heart, you are going to attract people that's got hate in their heart. If you are lonely and you go into a relationship, you are going to also attract people that are also lonely. And that is when you keep fighting the relationship. You see, most of us are used to toxic relationships. That is why people say things like, you see, if couples are not fighting, that means it's a fake marriage. If couples are not fighting, that means it's a fake relationship. But it's not true. You see, we are so intoxicated with toxic relationship, we believe that fighting in a relationship or quarreling in a relationship is normal. It is not normal, because you cannot abuse somebody that you love. You cannot insult somebody that you love. That is toxic love. That is not love. Because when you love somebody, you are going to respect that person. When you love somebody, you are going to protect that person. You see, many people go into a relationship with conflict of interest. Maybe you like going to drink, you like drinking, and your wife doesn't like drinking. That is conflict of interest. And when you enter that relationship, you believe that you are going to change your husband. You believe that you are going to change your wife. But people don't change. That is the truth. You need to have a proper assessment. You need to have a proper analogy before entering in a relationship, because people don't change. Not because they don't want to change, but change is difficult. Change is difficult. You see, remember the last time you said you want to go to gym. You know how important it is for you to go to the gym. You know the benefit that you are going to get going to the gym. But you don't go to gym. It's not because you don't want to go to gym, because it is difficult. It is difficult for us to change. People don't change. So when you are going into a relationship with an intention that this person is going to change, it is not simply the truth. Actually, people get worse. People don't change. So before going into that relationship, before going to that marriage, you need to be very careful to understand the person that you are involving yourself with, to understand the person that you are going to spend the rest of your life with. Because when you involve yourself with the wrong person, you are going to destroy your life. People have died in relationship. People have gone to jail in a relationship. These are people that are madly in love with each other. These are people that love each other so much. Then you ask yourself, what went wrong? What went wrong? These people used to love each other. These people used to be madly in love with each other. And now everything has gone south. It's because you have not conditioned your mind before you enter that relationship. And you are going to destroy yourself. You are going to destroy your life. And if you have a child, you are going to destroy that child's life. So it is a serious business. It is a serious business because this is a business of life and death. So you need to be very careful with the choices we make. You see, the reason why you are where you are today is because of the choices that we have made. So you need to be very careful with the choices we make. Because these are the things that is going to destroy us, or the things that is going to make us to be successful. You don't want to spend the rest of your life regretting. You don't want to spend the rest of your life being depressed. So you need to start making the right choices. And the only way you can be able to, it's not, like I said, to make the right, it's not easy. It's not easy. But the only way you can do it is for you to condition your mind. Everything happens in the mind. Creation happens in the mind. If you're a successful businessman, it happened first in the mind. If your marriage is going to work out successfully, it's going to happen in your mind. If your relationship is going to work out, it's going to happen in your mind. So the mind is where the magic happens. You need to condition your mind. You need to organize your mind. You see, when people say organize yourself, it doesn't mean to do something ambiguous. It means to condition your mind. And the only simple way to condition your mind is to free your mind from hate. Because the only thing that is going to corrupt your mind is hate. You see, I keep telling people to forgive. And when I say to people you must forgive, they think they are doing the other person a favor. But the reality is, when you forgive, you are doing yourself a favor. Because the moment you start forgiving people that has offended you is the beginning of conditioning your mind. Is when you start organizing your mind. And that is where success happens. That is where happiness happens. That is where peace of mind happens. Peace of mind happens in the mind. So you need to love yourself. The only way you can love yourself is to condition your mind. Because you need to know the truth. And the truth is that you are intelligent. The truth is that you are smart. The truth is that you are beautiful. That is the truth. And how do you know that you are beautiful? It happens in the mind. How do you know that you're intelligent? It happens in the mind. The mind is where the magic happens. The mind is where the magic happens. If your marriage is going to be destroyed, it's going to be destroyed first in your mind. If your business is going to be destroyed, it is going to be destroyed first in your mind. So the mind is the playground of the universe. The mind is the playground of God. That is where creation happens. Every creation happens in the mind. Every single thing that you want to achieve today, you can achieve it. Every single thing that you want to become today, you can become. But first, you need to become it in your mind. You need to create that experience in your mind. If you want to love yourself, you need to love yourself in your mind. Because that is where love happens. If you want to love your wife, you need to love your wife in your mind. Because that is where it happens. Mind is what creates reality. For you to open your mind, you need to open your heart. Because the mind and the heart, they work together. The mind is the center of creation, but the heart is the engine that drives creation. Love happens in the mind. So you need to empty your heart. Empty your heart from all kinds of hate. When you empty your mind from hate, that is when love is going to come inside you. Because love is God. You see, when we talk about God, God is not something that is abstract. God is love. And God is creation. And love is creation. Love is the magic. If you want to be successful today, you need to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't be successful. If you don't love yourself, you can't be happy. If you don't love yourself, you can't have peace of mind. If you don't love yourself, you can't love your wife. If you don't love yourself, you can't love your husband. If you don't love yourself, you can't love your child. And for you to love yourself, you need to eliminate hate in your heart. Because you can't have both hate and love at the same time in your heart. It doesn't work that way. It's not true. It's impossible. The reason why you are always attracting people that are backstabbing you, the reason why you are always attracting people that are disappointing you is because you have hate in your heart. What? Maybe somebody that has disappointed you before. Maybe somebody betrayed you before. Maybe your ex-boyfriend, your ex-wife, your ex-husband. They have done terrible things to you. I understand this. I see it's very difficult to forgive. You see, when I say forgive, it is not as easy the way I said it. Because those people has done terrible things to you. Those people has done something bad to you. I understand these things. You see, there is this thing they say, you can't hold somebody on the ground and you are free. If you hold somebody, you are also not free. The only way you're going to be free is to let go of that person. When you hate somebody, you are also not free because you are hating yourself. And remember, you are what you attract. If you hate yourself, you're also going to attract people that are going to hate you. If you hate yourself, you're going to attract people that are going to backstab you. Somebody said to me, no, I cannot forgive this person. This person has done something terrible to me. And remember, when you hate somebody, you don't wish good things to happen to that person. You want something bad to happen to that person. You want that person to lose his job. You want that person to have an accident. You want that person to get sick. You want that person to go into trouble, to get into trouble. But that is not how life works. Just because you hate somebody, it doesn't mean that person is not going to succeed in life. Just because you hate somebody, it doesn't mean bad things is going to happen to that person, because that is not how life works. That is not how life works. And when that person buys a new car, who is the person that is feeling the pain? Who is the person that is hurting? It is you. When that person gets promoted at a job, who is getting hurt? It is you. Because simply because you hate that person doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen to that person. There are many people that don't like you. There are many people that despise you. It doesn't mean that good things are not going to happen to you because they despise you. It doesn't mean that something special is not going to happen to you. That is not how life works. But when you have hate in your heart, you are setting yourself back. It is like a chain tying you on the neck. You are holding yourself back. There is no way for you to progress. There is no way for you to prosper because you are what you attract. If you hate people, you are going to attract people that hate you. I know those people have done something terrible to you. I understand it. But you need to forgive. That is the only way you can find happiness. That is the only way you can find a good husband. That is the only way you can find a good wife. That is the only way you can find promotion at job. It is called the miracle of forgiveness. When somebody tells me that, no, I couldn't find a good wife. When somebody tells me I couldn't find a good husband. When somebody said to me, bad people are always coming to me. Do you know the answer? Do you know the solution? The solution is to forgive. That is the solution. Because when your heart only has love, I'm talking about completely, when your heart is completely filled with love, there is nothing else left. The only thing you have is love. And that is the only thing you give. So when your heart is filled with love, the only people you are going to attract in your life are people that their heart is filled with love. So that is why before you go into any kind of marriage, that is why before you go into any kind of relationship, you need to sit down and organize yourself. Organizing yourself means being able to free your heart from past trauma. Your ex-boyfriend has offended you. Your ex-wife has offended you. Your ex-girlfriend has offended you. You need not to carry those trauma into the new relationship because you are going to destroy that relationship. You are going to turn that man that is a good man to a bad man. You are going to turn that woman to a bad woman. If you are lonely and you are looking for a companion, don't do that because it's not going to work. If the reason you are entering a relationship is because you are lonely, I'm sorry to disappoint you. It is not going to work. Because you are going to attract people that are also lonely. That is why people say this person is emotionally not available. Because two of you are lonely. Two of you are emotionally not available. If you are lonely and your partner is lonely, what it means is that both of you are emotionally not available. Because I guarantee you, the person that you are going to attract are people that are lonely. And you begin to ask yourself, why is something happening to me this way? Why am I always attracting the wrong people? Why am I always attracting people that are not compatible with me? You see, if you don't have love, you can't give love. You can't give love because it's practically impossible because you can't give what you don't have. If I come to you today and say to you, I want $1,000, you don't have it. It is the truth, you don't have it. But when you have it, you can choose to give me or not to give me. But if I ask you, I want a certain amount of money, if you don't have it and you want to give me, it is practically impossible for you to give me because you don't have it. If I come to your house and I'm hungry and I say to you, please, Alex, I want some food. You want to give me food, but you don't have it. The same way that you want to give somebody love, but you don't have love because you don't love yourself. Because the only way you can be able to reciprocate love is when you love yourself, because you are not giving from the place of lack. We give from the place of abundance. We don't give from the place of lack. We give from the place of abundance. So you need to love yourself and you need to love yourself abundantly. It is the abundance love that you are giving out. And And when you love yourself and you attract a partner that does not love himself, or you attract a partner that does not love herself, that partner is going to drain all your energy. That's what happens. Because you have love and this partner does not have love. What happens is that partner is going to be draining your energy. And before you know it, you become lifeless. You don't have no more energy to give. And resentment comes in. And that is when you begin to hate. And the more you hate is the more you make things worse. Because the more you hate, you are bringing sickness into your body. You see, the reason why we are sick, in most cases, is not because of what we have eaten. In most cases, it's because of the burden in our heart. It's because we have so much resentment of people that has offended us. It's because we have so much grudges that is piled up in our heart. Our heart is heavy. And when your heart is heavy, you are vulnerable to all kinds of manipulations. Sickness is going to come into your body, cancer, kidney failure, lung diseases, liver failures. These are as a result of a burdened heart. And when you begin to free your heart from all these grudges, when you begin to free your heart from all these resentments, you see how lighter you become. And you begin to glow. And people is going to notice it, because good things are easy to notice. Gold is always easy to observe, to detect. And when you go to work, people are always asking you, why are you always smiling? Because your smile is different. Now your smile is genuine. It is coming from your heart. Your manager is going to notice that something has happened to you. Your co-workers is going to notice that something has happened to you. That is the true definition of being born again. That is the true definition of being born again, because you are no longer the same person that used to bear grudges. You are no longer the same person that the heart has been burdened. You are no longer the same person that is stiff. You are no longer the same person that is faking smile. You are no longer the same person that is faking happiness. Now you are real. Now you are genuine. Those sicknesses is going to begin to disappear. Those bad friends will run away from you, because that is how life works. Because now you have become light. You become light. And the people you are going to attract are people that are also light. When you enter a room that is full of darkness, you are going to be the star that is going to brighten the room. You are now the person that is encouraging people. You are now the person that is putting smile on people, instead of being that person that is dehumanizing people, instead of being that person that is putting people down. Now you are a different person. Now you are the person that is making people smile. You are a person that is making people happy. Effortlessly, you are beginning to attract people that genuinely love you. Effortlessly, you are beginning to attract people that love you. These are people that are going to be with you in any kind of difficulties. And in most cases, when you free your heart from hate, you're no longer going to go to any kind of problems. I promise you. All those lack of employment, all those sicknesses, all those fake friends, they are going to disappear. Because you are now light. You see, creation is very simple. Creation happens in the mind. And the only way you can be able to create is when you have a pure mind. That is the only way you create. You don't create from the place of lack. The same way you don't give from the place of lack. You create from the place of abundance. And creation happens in the mind. If you are always depressed, if you are always unhappy, you are not creative. Because the moment you are supposed to be using to be creative is the same moment you are using to be thinking of something that has never happened to you. You begin to think they are going to retrench you from work. You begin to imagine things. It's the difference between, people don't understand how powerful we are. You see, the most powerful creature that God has created is human beings. Our mind is meant for us to create. That is the difference between us and animals. Because animals doesn't have the ability to create. Because they don't have the complexity of our mind. The function of the mind is for creation. The function of the mind is to attract that loving husband. The function of the mind is to attract that loving wife. The mind is for creation. The mind is not for antagonism. The mind is not to create enemies. The mind is not to gossip around. The mind is not to find enemies. The mind is there to create. And this life is too short for you to start making enemies, for you to start keeping grudges, for you to start hating people. You see, when I say forgive people, I don't mean that you need to become friends with those people. That is not what I mean. When I say forgive, what it means is that you are emptying your heart from hate. It's not like you're going back to become friends with those people that has betrayed you. It's not like you're going back to those people that backstabbed you. What it means is that you are emptying your mind from hate, your heart from hate. Because when you empty your heart is now empty. Now you allow your heart to attract the people that you want. You allow your heart to attract that perfect boyfriend that you want. You see, people say there's no perfect boyfriend. There's no perfect. It is not true. The reason why we are saying there's nothing like a perfect man or a perfect woman is because we are used to toxic relationships. That is when, if somebody like me is telling you, of course there is a perfect woman. I promise you, there is a perfect man. 100% perfect. The reason why you think there is no perfect man, the reason why you think there is no perfect woman is because we are used to toxic relationships. That is why we think there is no perfect man. That is why we think there is no perfect woman. Because we are not perfect ourselves. Perfection doesn't mean that you need to do something to you need to do something to perfection. That is not perfection. Perfection is being human. Perfection is being human. You see, when you have your wife or when you have a husband, you know insulting your husband is not the right thing to do. Well, and you keep insulting that person. That is not being human, because human is made for perfection. Every human being is perfect. But because of the way we grow up, we have corrupted our mind. The environment we grew up has corrupted us. Most of us are not fortunate enough to have a good mother or to have a good father. So maybe we grew up with a father that is always insulting us. Maybe we grew up with a father that is always abusing us. You see, our father, our mother, our guardian, they has corrupted us. We saw them fighting. We saw them quarreling. Then we think that is how marriages happen. I would say that is how relationship happens. Now we will become comfortable with toxic relationship. We become comfortable with people that insult us. We become comfortable with people that disgrace us, embarrass us in public. I tell you today, I promise you, I've seen couples that I know for sure, because I know of a mother. She's a very good friend of mine. she's 70 years and she's been married for 35 years. She had never had an issue with the husband. I promise you, not just that lady, that woman. I know several people because I do networking. I know a lot of people, and I can also testify myself. You see, when your heart is full of love, because see, you can't hate somebody that you love. You see, when somebody says, I'm loving you in my own way, there is only one way to love. You can't love your husband in your own way. You can't love your husband in your own way. You can't love your wife in your own way. You can't love you. There is only one way to love. Love is love. If you are loving somebody in your own way, you are just trying to romance it. You are just being toxic. There is only one way to love, to respect. That is the way to love. When you respect somebody, you love that person. Respect has nothing to do with age. Because I'm going to give you an example with children. You can't beat your son, you can't beat your daughter, and at the same time you claim that you love your daughter or you love your son. Because you don't love somebody and beat that person at the same time. You see, you don't beat people from the place of love. When you are slapping your wife, when you are slapping your husband, it is not coming from the place of love. It is coming from the place of hate. When you are insulting your husband, it is not coming from the place of love. It is coming from the place of hate. So, insult and hate is the same thing. You can't love somebody and at the same time insult that person. You can't love somebody and at the same time abuse that person. Hence I say to you, the only way for you to be happy, the only way for you to love is to love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you know that you can't insult yourself. If you love yourself, you can't abuse yourself. So when you're in a toxic relationship, when that person is abusing you, when that person is insulting you, what it means is that you don't love yourself. You don't love yourself. Because if you love yourself, you wouldn't let somebody to abuse you. If you love yourself, you wouldn't let somebody to insult you. So when you are comfortable with somebody abusing you, I'm also not talking about relationship. I'm also talking about with friends. You see, the reason why we stay in such relationship is because we are scared of being lonely. That is why we are stuck in a toxic relationship. Because we are scared of being alone. And the reason why you are scared of being alone is because you don't love yourself. Because when you love yourself, when you genuinely love yourself, you are complete. You are complete. That is when you are giving. Because you don't give from the place of lack. You don't give from the place of lack. You give from the place of abundance. So we need to learn how to love ourselves. We need to learn how to spoil ourselves. We need to learn how to appreciate ourselves. This life is very short. And this life is very beautiful. You see, the most beautiful experience you can have is in this life. But the thing is that we have complicated life. We've complicated ourselves. And we think that life is complicated. Life is simple. Life is very simple. Life is simple. We have made enemies. We have kept grudges. We have so much unrealistic expectations about life. We have complicated our life and we made our life difficult for ourselves. And most of the times it is not our fault anyway, because in most instances we are caught up from a bad family. We are raised from a family that hate us. Of course, there are good mothers. Of course, there are good fathers. But not everybody came from a good father. Not everybody came from a good mother. You see, there is no single person that was born an armed robber. There is no single person that was born a criminal. Every person was born innocent. Nobody was born a criminal. Nobody was born a thief. Every child is born innocent. So how come this small child, this baby that is so innocent, this baby that is so beautiful, this baby that is so handsome, he grows to become a murderer, he grows to become a rapist, he grows to become a criminal? Something must have happened, because he wasn't born a murderer, he wasn't born a rapist, he wasn't born a criminal, she wasn't born that way. Something happened. First is the environment. Second is the parenting. But if you are privileged to hear from me today, if you are going to any kind of challenges, I am telling you, it is not, there's nothing extraordinary about these things. You can decide to be a good person today. You can decide to be a good mother today. You can decide to be a good father today. You can decide to be a good man today. You can decide to be a good woman today. And the only way it all happens is in the mind. It happens in the mind. Because that child is corrupted. And the corruption is from the mind. The mind was corrupted. The mind is a computer. What you put in the computer is what is going to give you. If you put a bad software in a computer, you are going to have a corrupted machine. But when you put the right software in a computer, you are going to have a beautiful image. So the mind is like a computer. So when our mind is corrupt, that is when we become criminals. That is when we become murderers. That is when we become rapists. That is when we become bad people. The same computer that has been corrupted with a bad software can also be formatted. So you don't throw away the computer when that computer is corrupt. What you do is to format the computer. And when you format the computer, then you begin to put the proper software. The same thing with the mind. The idea of computer is from the mind. So you need to format your mind. And how do you format your mind? By changing the way you think. By changing your environment. You change your environment, you change the way you think. Watch how your life is going to change. You see, when you give people, you feel more happy than when you receive. So, if you are the one that is also always receiving, if you are on the receiving end, you will never find happiness. You see, true happiness comes from giving. True happiness comes from giving. That is the only way you can truly find happiness. And that is the only way you can truly find peace. You can't find peace from receiving. The same thing with love. When you are on the receiving end, you will never be satisfied. Because there is nothing your partner that is going to give you that you are going to be satisfied, because you are on the receiving end. So, but when you have two partners that are mentally stable, when you have two partners that are well organized, when you have two partners that are completely in alignment, that is when you say these two partners are compatible. Because they are complementing each other. This one is not lacking, the other one is not lacking. They are complementing each other. And that is how it's supposed to work. You must find somebody that has the same alignment with you. You must find somebody that has the same that is compatible with you. You need to find the same person that has the same life goals with you. You don't enter a relationship with the perspective or with the hope of changing your man. You don't enter a relationship with the hope of changing your woman. You are going to be disappointed because people don't change. People die. Actually, they get worse. People don't change. That is a fact, I promise you. People don't change. Except in a severe circumstances, in a rare circumstances. But in most cases, people don't change. I promise you. So if you know that somebody is flawed, you see, before you go into a relationship, you must have a list of all the qualities that you want in a man. You need to be extravagant with those qualities. You need to have a qualities that you want in a woman. You need to be extravagant with those qualities. What I mean by extravagant, you don't need to leave any qualities behind. Because that one you leave behind is what is going to cause the problem. That's what is going to cause the problem. If you want your man to be this, to be that, to be this, to be this, to be this, he must have all those things kept aside. So when you find this man, that is why date is important. You must go on a date. The reason why you go on a date is not for you to eat. The reason why you go on a date is not for you to drink an expensive champagne. The reason why you go on a date is for you to get to know each other, to get to interact with each other. Then when you are talking, when you are interacting, you are busy checking those lists. That is the purpose of going on a date. And in most cases, we don't go on a date these days, and we end up with the wrong people. And we ask ourselves, why are we always ending up with the wrong person? Because we don't understand how the relationship works. You go there, you check all the lists. If you have 30 lists or qualities that you want in a man, if you have 30 qualities that you want in a woman, that woman must meet those 30 qualities. That man must meet those 30 qualities. If not, you're going to find problems. That is when the problem comes. And you must make sure that those qualities is not going to be a trivial qualities, irrelevant things. The things you must write is supposed to be something that is relevant, something that is going to affect your life. Because when you enter in a relationship, it's like you are surrendering your life to somebody else. Because at that point, that person is a stranger. So if you are going to a relationship, you are going to a relationship with a stranger. You don't know if this person is a murderer. You don't know if this person is a rapist. You don't know if this person is a convicted criminal. You don't know if this person is a thief. You don't know if this person is a prostitute. You don't know anything about this person. So you need to understand these things. You don't rush into relationships. You don't rush into relationships. You need to take time to get to know each other very well. Because the purpose of marriage is to find peace. The purpose of marriage is to find happiness. You see, when you are making those lists, there is never a place you wrote that my wife is going to abuse me on Monday. On Tuesday, my wife is going to tell me how stupid I am. On Wednesday, my wife is going to tell me that I am crazy. You never put those things on your list when you are making the list of the qualities of a woman that you want. The same thing happens to the woman. When you are making those lists, you never included that my husband is going to beat me on Monday. You never included those things on your list. So you need to be very careful with the people you mingle with. People has died in relationships. People has gone to prison in relationships. And marriage is the best thing that can happen to anybody. It's so beautiful. It is so sweet. But you need to find the right partner. You need to find the compatible partner. And you can't have a bad mind. You can have a corrupt mind and you are looking to have a decent man or a decent woman. Your mind must be pure. Because when your mind is pure, is when you are going to attract people that has got pure mind. But when your mind is corrupt, even an iota of corruption, if it is in your mind, you are going to attract people that has corrupted mind. That is why it's very important. It's very important. Before entering any kind of relationship, whether be it marriage or be it a boyfriend or girlfriend, you must make sure that your mind is in order. You must make sure that you are going to that relationship with a perfect mind. That is when you have all the cards in your favor.